Let's explore part one of this problem that asks us to put together the statement of activities for the City of Northern Pines for the year ended June 30th, 2012. So I'm focusing on part one, and what we first have to do is review the information, and you see that on the bottom of the screen. I'll scroll up so you can see more of it. Okay? We see that they've given us information about its expenses, and it's broken down into the categories you see here, and we see information about the revenues. So we can tell which of these categories actually had revenues, where those revenues came from. And if we slide down a little bit more, we also see that they've provided some extra information, such as the special item, the gain on the sale of unused land, that generated a gain of $1,250,000. And there was a few others, and they give us the net position for government activities and business type activities. Okay, so let's take a look at how we could set up this statement of activities for the City of Northern Pines for the year ended June 31st, 2015. And they tell us that Northern Pines has no component units. All right, now I've provided a framework for how that statement of activities should appear. In looking at the data, you should be able to go through the categories they provided and determine that these categories here relate to government activities, and the water and sewer system and the parking system related to business type activities. And then what you want to do is list the expenses for each of these, the charges for each of these, and any operating grants that apply related to the program revenues. Over to the right, we would list the net expense revenue and changes in net position, and we would separate government activities from business type activities for each of those functions and programs. Then we get down to the general revenue, and we're only going to have general revenue that will appear in the last three columns. Now, keep in mind, because I've said you're only going to have information that appears in the last three columns, that doesn't mean that every single item listed here is going to have a value for it. It won't necessarily have one. For instance, will property taxes have something under government activities and business activities? I don't think so. I think it's only going to have numbers in one of those categories. And once you put all this information down, you can compute the change in position, add the beginning of the year, and you'll generate what the net position was at the end of the year. And that's really the approach you need to do to solve the first part of this problem, which is to prepare the statement of activities for the City of Northern Pines for the year ended June 30th, 2015.